everyone, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure Karai from the Last Ronin series. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at her in packaging, then I'm going to take a look at the figure and all her accessories, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts on her. And just remember, if you do like this video, go ahead and check out my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So without any further ado, let's get to the review. So here she is in packaging. I love this front art. I always love when they put comic book art on the packaging. I always think that has a really nice touch and what have you. So up here you got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin. You have her name down here. Open it up. We'll look at this side first. You get this nice picture of the figure. Spin her around this way. You get this open window that shows the figure, all her accessories. Okay, close that back up. Come to this side. You get more really cool comic book art. I really do like this. That looks really neat. Bring it around this way. You get this nice picture of the figure. You get a couple examples of the figures doing things that were done in the comic books, which is really nice. So this is her with Raphael. All right, you got the Last Ronin here. A little bit about the Last Ronin world and the figure. You get some more comic book art there. NECA. All right, spin it around here. You get the iconic cover for the first book. Her name. Spin it around here. You got the Last Ronin, your age restriction and choking hazards. And then underneath you got your skew and legal. So with all that being said, let's open her up and see what she's about. So here she is out of packaging. She's a really good looking figure. I like the detail to her. So first off, we're going to start with the rotation. Got this side, that side. You got the back. You have this side, and then oops, back around. Now with this figure, as you notice, I'm using a hip stand opposed to one of the ones that have the pegs. She does have pegs in her feet, but they're too small for any of my peg stands, so I had to use a hip stand with her. So let's start looking at her details close up. So first off, you got a really nice head sculpt. I really like that. Very well detailed. And just like all the other characters that are based off of the comics, all right, you get these little black lines all throughout. Gives it that comic book look. You know, like within her like wraps here. Same with her boots and whatever. So, you know, there is some nice detail on her. Okay. Let's get the stand back together. I'm not a big fan of these hip stands, but they do work. Alright, so there she goes. So now that we looked her over, let's start getting into her points of articulation. So the head does move. Alright, you got a shoulder joint. Ooh, that's a little tight, but it is there. With a swivel. You got an elbow joint, and you also have a wrist joint. All right, get that other arm up. Okay, so these joints are a little bit tight. Matter of fact, let's put the stand aside for right now. She does have a dorsal joint. Okay, so that does move. It's a little tight, but it does. She also has a joint right here underneath the breasts. So that works very well. Okay, bring her around this way. She has a thigh joint. She doesn't have any kind of swivel or anything in here. She has a knee joint. She has, I think no, there's nothing here as well. And then you have an ankle joint. All right, so at this point, as a figure, she's a pretty good figure. These elbow joints are a little bit on the tight side, but at the end of the day, they still work. See if I could get her to stand without the stand. Alright, so now we're going to look at the different accessories that she comes with. I'm going to try to do this without any kind of stand, so if she starts falling over, then, you know, I'll just bring the stand back. But first off, she comes with an alternate head. Alright. She comes with 6 different hands. So here's a holding hand. We got a closed fist. Okay. She has another closed fist. All right. She has another holding hand. All right. And then she has one more holding hand. So that's kind of interesting that she has 2 different types of holding hands. Now this one here looks like it's slightly different than the other 2. Okay, so we'll see what that's about in a minute. So first off, she comes with this shuriken thing, or it might be considered a throwing spike. I'm not exactly sure what this is meant to be, but it is from the comic. Alright, she has the scabbard for her sword. And of course, she has her sword. Alright, so now let's start looking at some of these hands. Let's swap out a couple of these hands. So let's do this one first. This is this weird hand. Alright, there we go. And let's do the other holding hand. Alright, so those elbows. So as you see, the hands swap out very easily. No issues. Now I believe this is for this triangle thing here, because it looks like this is meant to fit in between these 2 fingers, almost like how a sai would. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. That hand is specifically designed for this. Now you can maneuver the fingers to have them hold it a little bit better, but for, you know, time purposes, we'll just do it like that. So it does work. Now this hand here, you're probably going to want to open up the fingers a little bit, which they open up pretty easily. And boom. The sword goes in very easily. I don't have any issues with that. Now for the scabbard here, I'm going to guess that you might have to take the head off. Maybe not. Let's see if we could do this without taking the head off. Alright, so yeah, that will fit around her hair. Alright. And up and over. So, okay. So, yes, you can get that on without actually taking her head off, which is pretty nice. So now let's see how well this fits in the scabbard. Alright, so the sword fits in there very nicely. No issues. It looks kind of weird with this little tied on piece of cloth, because now it just kind of sticks out into the universe there. You know, it would be better, I guess, if they may have used real cloth or something and have it, you know, sit down. But, you know, still, it looks cool. So now the last thing we got to do with her is swap heads. Alright, that popped off. You know what, we're going to take this off just for purposes. And also, this comes off too. So if you want her without, you know, the neck piece, you can also do that. And the other head popped on very well. I don't have any issues with that. Okay, so it looks like everything swaps out pretty easily with her. And she stands pretty well on her own. So my final thoughts on her is I think she's a really good looking figure. She definitely matches up with the comic book look, you know, from the last Ronin comics. She fits the whole aesthetic with all the other comic book figures as well. Her joints were a little tight up here in the shoulders, but I still didn't need to use any kind of heat on them, which was really nice. The rest of the joints moved fine. I didn't have any issues with those. All her hands swiped out pretty easily. There's no issues with that. And all her weapons fit very well in her hand and inside the scabbard. Her head swapped out very well. So overall, everything's really good with this figure. Probably my only issue with her is that the holes in the bottom of her feet were a little small for any of my stands. But, you know, I'm sure there's probably, you know, stands that have smaller pegs. Or you could probably sand one down if you really had to. But so I think she would be a great addition to your Ninja Turtles collection. So with that being said, I hope you did like this review. If you did, go ahead and check out my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.